Thank you, Davis, for helping us out as we head into the 3 o'clock hour. Want to reset. Snow's been falling about 8 hours here in Middle Tennessee. We're getting our first reports of power outages to our south along the Tennessee-Alabama border, so it's beginning to happen due mainly to ice. It's getting colder outside. The chemicals aren't working as well on some of the roads. We've seen more accidents as folks on the roads are beginning to slip. Also, ice pellets beginning to fall in Middle Tennessee, some freezing rain as well. Conditions are deteriorating. For the very latest, let's check in with Danielle.
All right, and we are under that weather alert because we are now seeing that transition from snow to sleet to even freezing rain down to the south. Now in Clarksville, it's still snow. You'll probably transition to sleet pretty soon. But I want to show you this picture from Billy because look at the amount of snow he got outside his doorstep there. That's a couple of inches, probably at least 3-4 inches of snow. So this is going to be the jackpot up here and into southern Kentucky for the snow totals. However, it is turning to ice and sleet, really ice now in Lewisburg from JoJo. Look at the way the ice is coating the car windows, the roof of the car. This will happen the same way on untreated surfaces like parking lots, like sidewalks, the back roads, the side streets. So that icy glaze, it only takes a little bit to make things very slick. And like they were mentioning from the National Weather Service, we're expecting a lot more ice as the night goes on. In fact, Storm Prediction Center put out this mesoscale discussion on the freezing rain threat, and this is why we have upped our totals really south of I-40, because they are now saying ice accumulation rates could be up to 1/4 of an inch per hour as that warmer air aloft moves in. So folks, this is why we're very concerned down to the south, not only for folks in Wayne County, Lawrence, Giles, Lincoln, Moore, and Franklin counties, but all the way up into Murfreesboro, McMinnville. You're already seeing ice. I just got a picture I'm trying to effort to get on TV. Columbia as well. Remember, if you have pictures, you have videos, send it to pics at WKRN.com or me, Danielle Breezy TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We want to feature them as much as we can. That pink layer, though, sliding up into Davidson County. Now, we've been seeing sleet outside of our door so far, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'll have to go outside and check it out in a little bit, just to see if that's transitioned even to freezing rain. And even if you're saying it's very light down here in our southernmost counties, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take a lot of freezing rain to make things slick. In fact, in Lawrenceburg, already they have power outages being reported, and they've been having the freezing rain the longest so far there in Wayne County. And that's the concern, the far southwestern guys, because it's going to continue. Look at this pink area pushing closer and closer and closer in. And that is not good news. And this is an expansive storm. There's a lot more moisture back to the south. All of that is what's headed in our direction. So just stick with us. It's a long duration storm. It's not over until tomorrow afternoon. So we got a lot more to get through before all is said and done. Notice to the north, visibility is down to about a mile, lightening up a little bit more maybe in Columbia, but still 2-mile visibility in Linden. This is what it looks like from our Premier Heating and Air camera in Mount Juliet, 19 degrees currently. These folks got to take it easy on the roads, that's for sure. They are clear. Those are the main roads. Notice the camera shaking a bit too, because when you factor in the wind, it's dangerously cold outside. It feels like the single digits. Now, as we go through the rest of today, what's going to happen is that pink freezing line, freezing rain lifts north into southern Kentucky around dinner time. So you see that transition to sleet and then freezing rain. And then as the warm nose gets closer to us overnight, we could even see a cold rain come Sunday morning for our southern and eastern counties, okay? So then it's a cold rain for a little bit, but that's not forever, because the temperatures will then crash behind this system. As the temperatures start to nosedive and the low pressure gets closer, that's heavy moisture coming out of the sky, and most of it's sleet, freezing rain, and most spots maybe a thump of snow on the backside. And even that cold rain will quickly then freeze because they don't have enough time to deal with it. And so we have potentially even a flash freeze that may follow this. And that just means very, very extensive, significant issues from this storm system. The biggest issue is the ice, the freezing rain amounts, and we're still thinking that there could be a 1/2 an inch, maybe even 3/4 of an inch somewhere in this red color, probably down here in particular, but a 1/2 an inch of ice can do a lot. And a lot of folks in the purple color, at least 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, that can still do a lot. But once you get to a 1/2 an inch of ice, you might say that doesn't seem like a lot. Travel becomes nearly impossible, extensive tree damage and widespread power outages are possible. We're already seeing them in Lawrence County. Now, for more on the cold and the roads, let's go over to meteorologist Alex Libby.
Yeah, thanks, Danielle. So you mentioned it, that ice, 1/2 an inch might not seem like much, but imagine a 1/2 an inch on every square inch of these pine trees. I've been keeping an eye on these pine trees. This is I-24, Joe B. Jackson Parkway. That's in Murfreesboro near mile marker 82 on I-24. These pine trees will pick up that ice fastest and earliest because they have all the pine needles still intact. So I'm going to keep an eye on these pine trees. If they start bending over, you know that freezing rain is really starting to fall. Now, there is an accident down there in Murfreesboro. We have a couple cars off the road on I-24. That's been happening. The roads are very slippery out there. If you take a look at the entire map, you can see a lot of yellows and oranges showing up. Now, that's not necessarily traffic. It's just folks going slow, which is what you're supposed to do if you have to drive. Again, in the green shaded areas, it's probably just areas where there really aren't any people. Now, I've been talking about cars off the side of the road. Here's I-40 near here in News 2, near Fessler's Lane, and there is a truck on the side of the road that we've been showing all morning long and into the afternoon. That's because the truck probably took the corner a little too fast, slid off the road, and you can't be doing that. So go slow, stay in those tire prints that people are making. That's going to be your best bet for driving on the interstates, driving on any roads, because once you get into that other lane that's all slushy, that slush can really just drive you right off the road, kind of get a hold of your tires. Here's a live look at I-65, Old Hickory, near mile marker 74. You can also see one good lane, but one lane, the rest of the lanes, not looking so good. So if you have to hit the roads, we've been saying it all morning long, all afternoon long now. Take it slow. I drove in here, never really went over 35 miles per hour. Bob drove in here, probably hadn't any issues, probably stayed nice and slow. Back to you, Bob.